It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Pampa Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine indeed. It's been a long time since I've had my co-host on the show because a couple of weeks ago we had Poffy and Boffy. Last week I was on my lonesome. But have we got Paul Naylor tonight? There he is.
Flying through the air.
I couldn't resist.
I love that.
We needed the big intro there.
You spoiled me with that one. Oh dear. Good to see you, mate. You good?
Yeah, I'm really good. Delighted to have you back. We can talk Star Wars.
Good to be back. Good to be back, mate. Yeah. I must warn you, I've been out for a few spotchkers this afternoon, so fingers crossed I'm on all power converters, but you never know. Things could go awry. I'll try my best.
That's what we like to hear, you know. It's going to be an interesting show and lots of interesting comments.
I'll try to ring myself in a bit. Yeah, we're good. We'll be fine.
Have you had a good breakaway?
Yes, yeah, it was great over in Gran Canaria with the wife Mandy and 3 of the kids. It was brilliant. Yeah, I had a great time. I've even got a little bit of a tan, which is quite rare for me. So yeah,
very nice. Very nice weather over here in the UK as well.
Yeah, so we brought it back with us.
Brought it back. We're all struggling in the UK heat. And
I think it's about to break, though, isn't it? I think
it's going to launch into horrendous rainstorms, I'm sure.
As it often does, yeah.
We have loads of Star Wars news to talk about. Should we see what we've got coming up on the show?
Let's do it, mate. Let's do it.
So, tonight's show, first up, we'll be checking out Tippett Studio's 2025 VFX showreel.
Then it's Rogue One, Gareth Edwards, and the relief that people don't shout that I ruined their childhood. Yeah, Gareth, don't worry, Gareth, you did good.
Yeah, he's never met me.
I've met him. Good bloke.
Yeah. Tony Gilroy's been on the news front this week. We've got a few articles with him to cover. But first we'll be talking Vel, as he suggested that's the one character he would have liked to bring into Rogue One.
And then it's back to Tony Gilroy, where we're looking at Dawn of the Jedi, which is the new free platform that's coming up. And he calls it kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see what he means by
that. Disney and ITVX here in the UK have announced a streaming partnership. We'll be talking what that could mean for Star Wars and Lucasfilm.
It's an interesting move. And then we've got the return of Jabba's Court, something that certainly I've not seen for a while. Should Rian Johnson resent the Rise of Skywalker? It's a shame this won't be a sort of more balanced argument.
Yes, it's going to be a lovely balanced argument on that one, I'm sure. We've got the announcement of the Art of Star Wars Andor, the complete series book coming out in May next year. We'll be checking that out.
Excellent. And then the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art. George Lucas has taken the LMNA to San Diego Comic-Con. The fact that he's actually appearing at a Comic-Con is something that we can all sort of scratch our chins about and wonder what will happen with Star Wars Celebration for the 50th anniversary. Fantastic news, that is.
Yep. We'll also be hearing from Beau Willimon on whether he'd love to do more Star Wars and Dawn of the Jedi. His comment, abso-fucking-lutely. I don't know if that's a good thing for a writer. Is that not a lack of vocabulary?
I don't know whether you were meant to actually say that.
Well, there we go. It's past the watershed. It's beyond 9 o'clock. It's okay.
That's true.
And then last in the news front, we'll be looking at Starfury Invasion. I can never say her name. It's terrible. Natasha Leo Bordizzo.
That sounds about right.
She's going to be coming to Birmingham as well. It's a huge lineup for the show now. And I'm going to be there as well. Very exciting.
Excellent. And me too. That'd be nice. It'll be the first time we've seen each other in quite some time, mate.
It will be. And then we'll be recapping and reviewing Andor Season 2, Episode 6. What a festive evening. And a deep dive in our segment, The Death Star Cometh.
I have to say, that's probably the most rubbish subtitle of any Star Wars show ever. What a festive evening. I can almost see Ken Dodd saying that one, but still, there you go.
It's very true. Some
Oh, dear.
heartbreaking scenes in this week's episode to cover as well.
Oh, terrible.
Very upset. Should we check out the first news item and crack on with the show, Paul?
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
So, that's not what we're talking about first. We're talking about the Tippett Studio. And they've released a VFX showreel, which is always fun to look at. And Tippett Studios obviously do amazing things. And so when one of these VFX studios launch a VFX showreel into the world, we like to check it out. So let's check it out, Paul.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget just quite how much work Tippett Studios do.
Yeah. I mean, Phil Tippett been so instrumental since, well, the early days of Star Wars, right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Great logo, by the way. I love the Tippett Studios logo. It's
It is very nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just sort of like a brief snapshot of all the things he's been involved with there. But for us, obviously, he is Mr. Star Wars. He's been involved with it. It's been involved with it all the way through. I don't
He
think there's
has,
ever been a...
So I think the most recent would have been Skeleton Crew he would have worked on.
Yeah.
With the whole sort of garbage spider thing, whatever you want to call it.
But what a fantastic resume, though, to have all those different films and TV products, associated with you. He should be very proud of himself. He's a very humble man. Whenever I've watched him on various documentaries and behind the scenes stuff, he's a quiet soul.
Yes, and I do wonder, because they've gotten more involved in social media and they're releasing things like that, whether we're now seeing that pass the mantle on, and so it becomes less about him and more about the work of the studio, and so he's sort of teeing it up to be brought forward beyond him, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, not only is it very sort of giving of the man, but also it's a shrewd move, because what effectively it does is that your name will live on beyond your lifespan. But certainly you'll be able to go into retirement and still have everybody know the name of Phil Tippett.
Yeah. As Big Kev says here in the comment, he should do a convention.
Absolutely. I'd be up for meeting him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'd love that. So that's the first news article covered. Talking about someone who works incredibly well with VFX, and he's got his latest film out in the cinema, Mr. Gareth Edwards. He's obviously got the Jurassic World Rebirth out now in cinema, so he's doing the press rounds, and inevitably gets asked about Star Wars. Having been the director of Rogue One, one of the most beloved Star Wars films in the Disney era, it would be fair to say.
Yeah. He's a really interesting guy, and it's still probably my favourite Fantha Tracks memory is getting the opportunity to meet Gareth.
And it was
Nuneaton.
one of the very first things we did. I think it was on
Yeah.
podcast number 1.
That's right, yeah. And he was such a joy to talk to. He was so relaxed, and he was obviously feeling very much at home because that's where he comes from, Nuneaton. But we were at a charity screening for the Angelman charity, I believe it's called.
Yep.
And there was myself and Mark Newbold, Claire, and Moon Mooncat, old Carl, and we had a great time just sitting down and just sort of chatting very generally about Rogue One. I mean, it was a few years old by then when we were talking to him, but the love for the film was clear. You know, there weren't many people that were at that private screening that hadn't already seen it. It was, yeah, absolutely, Kev, I agree with you there. He's just such a nice guy, and I just wish him loads of success in the future. I would love to see him come back to Star Wars at some point.
Yeah,
that would be brilliant.
So obviously, as I say, he's got Jurassic World Rebirth, which done incredibly well on opening weekends, making huge amounts of money. And he was asked about Rogue One. And he says, I mean, I'm just eternally relieved that I don't walk across the street and people shout that I ruined their childhood. That's just teeing me up for the next time I see him. I'm going to shout, you ruined my childhood.
It's teeing me up for one of the articles on later on today.
Yeah. And he says it's a bit like Jurassic World Rebirth. I hate the World franchise and IP. It sort of diminishes these movies. As he sees them as sort of semi-religious experiences watching them, and so they mean a lot. And he says he's always felt, and I don't hold any of the films in high regard like this, but I do think that really the test of a movie is how it's viewed 10, 20 years later. And
Absolutely.
Obviously there's anticipation that everyone's going to think when a film comes out, but you should always I look at a lot of my heroes and would they tell stories, and it seems unbelievable. Like I was reading the other day about John Carpenter and The Thing and how it flopped and how he couldn't work for a while and things like that. And you go, what, The Thing? Like that's a masterpiece. So we've got Rogue One's 10th anniversary coming up next year.
Next year, yeah.
Which it feels unbelievable. Makes us feel old a little bit.
It feels like yesterday, doesn't it? Yeah. But his comments relating to The Thing as well, there was something that I saw the other day where it was saying that there were 2 sci-fi masterpieces that came out that year, The Thing and Blade Runner, neither of which really lit the box office on fire, but are now widely regarded as being sort of masterpieces. Quite rightly so.
And so that's Gareth Edwards and Rogue One, and obviously it's had a sort of a refocus and a new lease of life with Andor being out, linking directly into it. So it's been getting a lot of views as well on Disney Plus by a lot of people in the last few months.
I love the idea that people are now calling it a new Star Wars trilogy, which is basically all of Andor, Rogue One, and the first Star Wars film, A New Hope.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I played it, because I saw, obviously, Andor Season 2, then I watched Rogue One, and then I went to see the original cut of Star Wars.
Yes,
at the BMI,
you were very lucky.
So we got the proper original trilogy.
The proper. Yes, I'm quite envious about that one. Hopefully that cut will come out for the 50th anniversary, but we shall wait and see.
And obviously on the back of Rogue One and everyone rewatching it, the question was put to Tony Gilroy about if he would like to retcon any characters from Andor into Rogue One. His answer, vel. And he admitted himself that he hasn't actually gone back to watch Rogue One yet, but it's on his list of things to do over the summer. He'd want Vel there for sure. He said, my God, think of Vel's take on Jyn Erso. I'm sure she'd have some very choice things to say about her. Jyn would light up all of Vel's irritation.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting choice, I suppose. I would probably have been more inclined to go with somebody from the ISB. Maybe Dedra.
Yeah, obviously Dedra's in, well, spoilers, but Dedra's in jail.
There is. One. Yeah, sorry, no, there is that. Yeah.
You forget that a lot of the Andor characters get killed off or
or imprisoned. Yeah,
quite a conclusive end story to them.
Yeah,
so there's very few you could actually bring in there.
Kayla could have made a breakout.
Would probably be the primary two, I would think.
Yeah.
Big Kev reminded me here as well. Never forget the old saying, you're never as old as Paul Naylor.
Thanks,
yeah,
Kev.
If you could take a character from Andor into Rogue One, who would it be?
I think probably B2EMO. That'd be really cool to see him in there.
Yeah.
Even if it was just a fleeting glance.
For me, Willimon.
Yeah.
Because he probably had the least satisfying conclusion to his sort of story, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, was he sort of... Did he get involved with the old addiction to gas?
And it never really kind of became a thing in the story.
Yeah.
And he ended back on Yavin and part of the core group of rebels and not with Saw Gerrera. So, there's just something about his story wasn't conclusive.
Yeah, it would have been good to have seen him away from Saw and then perhaps meeting up with Saw again for some sort of mini battle, if you like, I suppose. I think the interesting thing that Andor did was it sort of kind of completely made the character of Saw Gerrera a madman, whereas before you could see him as like just part of the Rebel Alliance and a freedom fighter, but no, he was absolutely loopy. He was a crazy guy.
And we'll be hearing from one of Andor's writings, Beau Willimon, later in the show, but he actually said that of all the characters, he loved writing Saw Gerrera, and he would be the character. He would do a spin-off and so on. Yeah,
madness personified. Absolutely, go for it.
And Skyrider here on YouTube with the quote from Tony Gilroy. I'll probably watch Rogue One this weekend, tiptoe through it, and just see how it feels. I've been very leery of doing that. I don't know why everybody else has done it. We'll see.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful, beautiful film.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, he came in towards the end and shot some additional scenes, assisting Gareth Edwards in finishing the film off and rewriting a good chunk of the last third of the film, it would be fair to say.
Yeah, certainly restructuring it. And,
yes.
And patching it together into the film that we know. It's always interesting, and it comes up quite frequently online. The differences and the things that were in the trailers that didn't appear in the final film. Which, I mean, it does make for perhaps an interesting take on Rogue One in the future. A little bit like how Superman 2 has the Richard Donner cut and the version that went out in the cinema. Would be quite interesting to see an alternative take on Rogue One. I'd be up for that.
Yeah, definitely. And as Big Kev says here, the madness of Saw Gerrera, that would be a show that he would watch. Definitely, I think it's that has the potential to be the most interesting if you were to spin off and do something.
Yeah.
Tony Gilroy needs his eyebrows cut, obviously. We can see from that photo. But beyond that, he is on the press trail at the moment as well. And he was asked about one of the writers, Beau Willimon, who's also going to be working on Dawn of the Jedi. And he passed comment on that on the basis that... well, to start with, he spoke about Skeleton Crew and said he'd watched Skeleton Crew and thought some of that was really cool. And he kind of liked that it had its own tone, similar to Andor, content has got its own tone. And then he went on to speak about the Dawn of the Jedi project, which is obviously coming from the pen of Beau Willimon and going to be directed by James Mangold. And he made the comment that they're going way back. That's kind of interesting because it's free. And he kind of wondered with that comment, was there little bits of Andor that he felt a little bit trapped by, because it's in a very confined story.
A very small space of time.
You're heading in a very specific direction, and you've got places you've kind of got to get to. It's also interesting on the basis that he seems quite excited about it, and obviously he's going to know a little bit about what Beau's writing, you would think.
Yeah. But let's not forget, The Acolyte had the luxury of that as well, and that didn't pan out too well.
Yeah, that's a very good comment, Paul. So yeah, I'm kind of excited for Dawn of the Jedi. It has the potential to really spin off a whole series of Star Wars in a different direction. I like it being pre-Jedi. Don't like the Jedi, evil people.
I think Star Wars over relies on the lightsaber and Jedi. To be honest, some of the better things haven't had that in it.
Yeah, and I think that's very fair, especially on the Star Wars TV. Very little in the way of lightsabers. And when there has been lightsabers, it's probably been the less popular of the content.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, The Mandalorian, Solo, and Rogue One have been the best Disney output. There's not a lot of lightsabers in those.
Yeah, Skyrider, he's agreeing as well on the idea of a Saw Gerrera show, but we'd want it to connect in with other main characters. Yeah, it would definitely have to connect in. I think Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, Saw Gerrera, that kind of connections. The only thing I can see against it happening is obviously you've got novels coming out from Del Rey at this point in time that are going to focus on these three characters, so you're kind of probably already committed and limit yourself to what you can do in that direction.
Yeah, I've said it before. One of the greatest problems that we have is canon, because it really does lock you in. There's so many things that you can and can't do.
I guess is exactly the point that Tony Gilroy is trying to make here.
Yeah.
Let's talk something specific to the UK. An interesting one, really, for the wider streaming world. Yeah. Which is beginning to expose its flaws. The whole theory that you could go from spending 50 quid a month to spending 8 quid a month, and the entertainment companies would have all the money in the world to do what they want. The logic from the very outgoing was not there. And so you see them all starting to change their business model a little bit. And ITVX is a streaming platform here in the UK from one of the two major broadcasters. You've got BBC, then you've got ITV on the commercial side of things, and their streaming platform is called ITVX, and they've committed almost 300 million over the next few years to boosting their streaming service to compete with the global companies like Disney, like Amazon, like Netflix. It's a very hard task. They've tried various things in the UK, such as BritBox. It's kind of floundered and failed a little bit.
Yeah. Does that one still exist? BritBox?
I think so. I believe so.
Does it?
But announced this week was a programme with Disney Plus, where on ITVX streaming service, you're going to get a section called A Taste of Disney Plus, which will include for a certain period of time some of the content of Disney Plus. So a select number of shows, perhaps, the example I've used, season 1 of Andor will be on it. And on Disney Plus, and they will get A Taste of ITVX. So they'll have a section on Disney Plus here in the UK where you'll get some of the best of ITV shows, which, be a short list. But things that probably don't have a global audience, such as game shows like the 1% Club.
Yeah,
which is horrible. But then you've got nice dramas like Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, which was very good, but doesn't have an audience outside of the UK. Yeah. But maybe things like Spy Among Friends, which is an espionage drama, reality TV shows like Love Island, which have got their own US versions anyway. Dramas like Vera and so on. So each platform, so Disney Plus will pick what they're going to put on A Taste of Disney Plus. ITV will pick what they're putting on ITVX. They'll have regular meetings and agreement over what content they're putting on there. So it'll all be for a limited time, and it's basically to encourage ITV customers to sign up to Disney Plus and Disney Plus users to start watching more of ITVX. ITVX initially will be getting the first seasons of FX's The Bear, Lucasfilm's Andor, and the drama-only Murders in the Building.
Okay.
So it brings a new audience to Star Wars potentially, because there's going to be a lot of people here in the UK who don't have Disney Plus, who haven't thus seen Andor. They'll watch the first season. Will that be enough to spur them on to subscribe to Disney Plus to watch the second season in conclusion?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea to sort of partner up, but I mean, when I was over in the States a couple of years back, I think I'm right in saying that I think it was on Disney Plus or whatever the streaming service it was, there was the Young Adventures of Indiana Jones. Now, I'd be more inclined to be able to get access to that than to stuff like Vera from TVX. So whether it's the correct partnership, I don't know. But yeah, let's see what it does. I mean, if it does encourage people then to go and purchase Disney Plus and vice versa for ITVX, well then great. But like you said at the top of this, I don't think streaming has gone quite the way that the big corporates thought it was going to go. It hasn't been that big push from the public to buy into it.
And certainly here in the UK, the BBC and ITV are kind of in this difficult situation where they've kind of got to get into the game a little bit. The BBC's obviously worked with Disney Plus, done deals for things like Doctor Who, which hasn't exactly gone swimmingly.
Yeah.
ITV Studios make a lot of content. They're behind the Disney Plus drama, The Rivals, which stars David Tennant. Everybody wishes he was probably Doctor Who. And they've got things that have been announced, such as the return of Blind Date, which is coming to Disney Plus. So these companies have worked with Disney Plus in the past. This is now integrating streaming services. I actually think this is the first step towards bundled streaming services. So you'll get to the point perhaps where ITVX is bundled in with Disney Plus to create one platform.
It's almost
so you'll end up having a TV guide that brings up ITVX and Disney Plus shows combined together. I think that's the kind of direction we're going to head in terms of streaming.
In which sense that probably makes more sense to bundle the two together, because there will be very diverse content. So, but yeah, it very much is the devolution of streaming. It's almost like not a white flag, but it's kind of an admission of defeat.
One thing from this whole thing, and I haven't been able to find out the answer, is ITVX in Scotland is a very stripped down service.
Is it?
Because in Scotland, we have STV instead of ITV.
Yes.
And so not all of the ITV content is available in Scotland, because not all of it is licensed by STV.
Right.
So we still have the ITVX apps you can watch, but it doesn't have all the content you have when you go down to England. So I don't know if we're going to get a taste of Disney Plus in Scotland.
Hey, look, as long as we get still game, I'm happy.
So it's kind of within the UK, the whole third network or second network in ITV, it's kind of fragmented between Ireland, Scotland and England as it sits already. So it's a little bit unclear. It does say that it's going to be available to all ITVX viewers at no cost and free on ITVX Premium, which is the ad-free version of ITVX. So you would think that it will be available to Scotland. It doesn't say it isn't, but it also doesn't say it is.
It might be a way for you to get more ITV content that you're currently getting, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, they won't pay for it. That's the bottom line. Something that I would pay for, the Art of Andor, the complete series, is going to be arriving 19th of May next year. and it's coming from Abrams Books, who have done so many of the behind-the-scenes books, and going to be written by Phil Sosiak, who has done many of these as well, and really excited for this, to see behind the scenes of Andor and the making of, because these books have been very good. They're obviously the nice presented Disney happy version of production. You don't get the juicy tidbits of things that go wrong, as you have in some of the original prequel trilogies, where time has moved on and they're not so fussed about people being upset. But these are always fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've had hints of the images from these in the different reels that they played prior to the release of the original series of Andor. So, yeah, just from that previous shot of images that you showed, there was some familiar looking stuff. But yeah, I mean, they're beautiful books. I mean, they are in many senses deep dives, I suppose. You know, you've got to really be into that sort of thing, but certainly highly collectible and highly desirable.
Yeah. So as it says, there's going to be in-depth interviews with Tony Gilroy, Diego Luna, and the talented Lucasfilm staff. They're going to deep dive into the various locations. You're going to get all the concept art, from the ISB uniforms to FedEx workwear to the sleek speeders to the sterile prison cells of Narkina 5. So yeah, they're going to go heavy into that. So it's always interesting to see how things were originally envisioned and how they evolved over time. And this is kind of the little interesting little tidbits that these books reveal. Yeah.
Is it something that you've collected in the past, Brian? Have you got any of these?
Yeah, I always pick these things up. I love the deep dive books.
Yeah. And how much does that normally go for?
Doesn't say, but you're probably looking around the 50-60 quid mark, I would suggest.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, that's not a bad price.
It's not bad. It's a coffee table book. It's a coffee table book.
Very much so.
Next up on the news front, San Diego Comic Con. And very interesting news this week. That George Lucas is going to be making an appearance. The very first time George Lucas has gone to San Diego Comic Con, and probably the last, because you'll go there and you'll realise, what the hell am I doing with all these freaks and weirdos?
Geeks.
But he's going there and he's going to be doing a panel chaired by Queen Latifah.
Of course. I
know, Guillermo del Toro and Doug Chiang, and it's going to be on narrative art. And obviously, he's going to bring some news about the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art itself, which is due to open in 2026. So maybe we're going to get an opening date.
Yeah.
And it's evolving very well. You can kind of see from that image there, it is pretty much ready on the outside. So I imagine they're working very hard on the inside now.
Yeah.
And his appearance is going to be on the Sunday, July 27th in Hall H. Start queuing now. And the panel's entitled A Sneak Peek of the Lucasfilm Museum of Narrative Art. Very interesting that straight off the block, Doug Chiang's there, obviously part of Lucasfilm, because this is very much a separation between George Lucas himself and his former business, Lucasfilm. Because it is going to be items from George Lucas's collection rather than from the Lucasfilm archive, as far as we're aware. Obviously, there may be some lending of content, but it goes far beyond Star Wars. This isn't a Star Wars museum. We have to be very clear in that. This is a museum on the whole concept of narrative art.
Well, also his private art collection as well.
Yes.
But there's going to be so many people that go along to this expecting so much more Star Wars content than they're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck, folks.
And actually, just to break down what you can expect there, you're going to have art from Norman Rockwell, Kader Nelson, Jesse Wilcox Smith, Beatrix Potter, amongst the names. Then comic art, which is a huge part of which George collects. And you've got people like Chuck Kirby in there as well. Photographers like Gordon Parks as well. So like a huge wide range of content.
Yeah, the Beatrix Potter one's the weird one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it does say it will contain the Lucas archive, which includes models, props, concept art, and costumes from Lucas's filmmaking career. So these are the elements that George owned personally rather than Lucasfilm, the company, owned.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see our first look inside it. I imagine, or what the concept at least of what's going to look inside.
Yeah, it's certainly something somewhere that I'm looking forward to going to visit. I think that'll be a road trip that you and I will probably share.
We'll have a cup of tea on the grass on the roof there,
and maybe a scone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this will play, but let's see if it'll play. Will it play? No, it won't. There we go. We tried.
No.
But if you head to the link in the show notes, you can head over to fathertracks.com and you can check out the latest aerial drone footage.
Is that an actual photograph of it?
That is an actual photograph of it.
It is, right. So it's not AI or anything like that.
No.
So it's looking pretty much as they'd envisaged it. So that's looking great.
But come back in a couple of weeks. We'll be covering San Diego Comic Con and the news coming out of there, and what's said at this convention will be in the news front, I'm very sure. Then this is Star Wars has historically not been a particular big part of San Diego Comic Con, and you can go back to 1976 before the film came out, probably the last time Star Wars had a big presence at the show, when Howard Chaykin's art was the sort of giveaway at the show. And it's amazing that in all these years Lucas has managed to avoid going. Well played him.
Oh well, he's finally relented.
Yeah. Should we head to Jabba's court, Paul, and have a little have a little chat about Star Wars and Rian Johnson?
Absolutely. I'm happy to do that.
That would be excellent. Let me find the intro. So, this week on Jabba's Court, we're talking Rian Johnson and the Rise of Skywalker, and whether Rian Johnson should feel resentful about the Rise of Skywalker film. This is based off of, if I can find the article, that's not the article at all. Have I got the article? I don't think I do.
No.
Let's go back. I don't think I do.
Okay.
I thought I had the article. I don't have the article at hand. But if you check out the show notes, you'll find the link. Rian Johnson has been on the media tour because another Knives Out adventure has been announced for Netflix. The latest one starring Daniel Craig, formerly James Bond, soon to be replaced by a pic of Jeff Bezos. Which, could be controversial depending on your thoughts on what they did to Lord of the Rings. And in an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, whilst he's also been promoting the second season of Poker Face, which is his TV series on Netflix, conversation, as it always does, turns to the galaxy far, far away. And he was asked a question of whether he had any ill feeling towards his directorial predecessor and successor, J.J. Abrams, and the choices that J.J. Abrams made when it came to picking up the reins for Episode 9. And Rian Johnson quoted as saying, I didn't feel resentful in some way. In my perspective, JJ did the same thing with the third that I did with the second, which is not digging it up and undoing, just telling the story the way that was the most compelling going forward. This means not just validating what came before, but recontextualizing it and evolving and changing the story as the story moves forward. Your thoughts on that comment to start with?
What do I think of Rian Johnson? Put it this way. I don't care if this Knives Out stuff is the next Citizen Kane. I would never watch it. I would never want to chip into his pension pot for the rest of my life. I despise that. No, despise is strong. It is about the right word. I despise what he came up with for Episode 8. It wasn't what I would have done with Star Wars. I think he disrespected or didn't understand the character of Luke Skywalker primarily. But the whole film was a shambles. The whole Leia thing floating in space. Poor Carrie Fisher had already passed away by the time they were into the production of this film. They'd already filmed the scenes where she was blown out of the window. That would have been a far more noble end for that character than what they came up with. So he'd already filmed and got what he needed for a proper ending of Leia. What he did to Luke was just, well, let's not even go there. And for somebody to say that they love Star Wars and they wanted to, what was the term he kept coming up with, where he wanted to sort of like make people sort of like, he wanted to come up with something that people weren't expecting.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I challenge his comment that he wasn't trying to undo what came before, because his whole comments at the time was that's precisely what he was trying to do. He was trying to make something that wasn't Star Wars, and he was trying to do something that was completely unexpected for those characters and effectively out of character for those characters. Yeah. So I don't think he's been entirely truthful about what his plans were for Episode 8. So I'm not sure he's being entirely truthful about what he thinks of the Rise of Skywalker. Because without question, the Rise of Skywalker set out to undo what occurred in Episode 8. Yeah. And that doesn't just come from J.J. Abrams. That has to be Lucasfilm itself realising and wanting to pivot, realising the negative reaction to 8 from a chunk of the fan base. And let's be fair, there's a big chunk of the fan base who also loves The Last Jedi.
Yeah. I mean, Harry Potter was a set of 7 books which they managed to make into 8 films. The last book was split into 2. They could have done that quite easily with what was Episode 9. Could have made a 9 and 10, where there would have been more opportunity to undo and rectify.
I think that's true, but I also think they probably realised we just need to damage control here, and we're not going to make money because we've lost an audience.
How sad is that, though?
Which was ultimately shown true in the box office takings.
Yeah, what a sad reality that is. I mean, you know, to acknowledge that that you've screwed it up so much, we're only basically putting this film out because we need to, rather than because we've got something that we feel people need to see. Oh, it's terrible. But I said it before, I would have restructured the films into a pyramid. I'd have had, because Episode 1, the timeline of that is so different to Episodes 2 and 3. So you could have Episode 1 at the top of the pyramid, 2 and 3 a duology of films, A New Hope, Empire and Jedi as a trilogy, and then we could have had 7, 8, 9 and 10, whereby 9 and 10 could have rectified and sorted out the heinous
I kind of agree with the notion that it would have made more sense to conclude it with 10. Yeah. Because it's actually hard, I think, to start a trilogy with the 10th film, because 10 feels like a landmark kind of moment. So, it would have made sense to make it a 4-film thing.
Yeah, but going back to what you just said, though, the fact that they just basically wanted to draw a line under it and get rid of it as quick as possible, I get that as well. No one loves The Rise of Skywalker. They may tolerate it, but love is a strong word. People love strange things, Kev.
You know, just look at who's in charge of your country. You know, some people love him, some people hate him. You know, it's it's difficult.
Yeah.
Love is in the eye of the beholder.
I've never heard anybody say that they love the Rise of Skywalker.
I think the problem with the Rise of Skywalker was there just to do damage control, and but it never gave justice to any of the characters. I don't think, apart from Rey and Kylo Ren, and it just became, let's just abandon everything else that's going on all round about it and focus on those two characters, because it almost felt like you'd lost the characters of Han, Luke, and Leia by that point.
Yeah.
And what had come before. So all you had left was Rey, and they've protected Rey in a bubble, and that's why they're probably developing a new Rey trilogy.
Yeah.
Because they've been able to protect her as a character. Still some controversial choices made in The Rise of Skywalker about her character, and
I think
stealing the Skywalker name, perhaps. But
that's crazy. But I think the only nice thing about The Rise of Skywalker was to see the return of Lando. But really, he should have been there from 7, at least episode 8.
That's what failed in the sequel trilogy to me, was you had Luke, Han, Leia, and Lando.
Yeah.
All actors still alive, all capable of still putting in strong performances. And you did not have a single scene where you had them all together.
Yeah. And the crazy situation where if you just putting Lando to one side and just concentrating on Luke, Han, and Leia, by the time we got to the end of episode 8, we'd killed off Luke and Han, but the only character that remained was Leia, and in reality, she was the only person in real life that had passed away.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. Well, we can all see what they were trying to do. They gave Harrison Ford episode 7, Mark Hamill episode 8, and Carrie Fisher is still, as far as I know, credited as being the top actor for episode 9. But it didn't work. It didn't work at all.
The interesting thing for me was, obviously, before The Last Jedi came out, they announced that Rian Johnson would be doing a trilogy of films. And so Lucasfilm were very much loving what Rian Johnson was doing. So they had the comfort point of, let's do a trilogy together. And as I understand it, based on comments made by Rian Johnson, is that there's necessarily not a contract in place there. There was no treatment. There was no storyline. Just a general concept. Yeah, we should do a trilogy together, and it should be based on this. Yeah. And that, it was just a mild conversation in that way.
Yeah.
So he was also being asked this week about whether that trilogy is still happening, and he kind of didn't say no. He said he would still love to do Star Wars, but there's nothing there. There's not a contract to do it. There's not a storyline written. There's nothing there, so it's not being developed. And he's away doing his own thing and doing his own projects. He's got his own production company. Ironically, took some staff from Lucasfilm to set up that production company. I don't think he'll ever be back doing Star Wars, because I think to bring him back would be so divisive. I don't think any sensible movie studio would allow it. I'm not going to comment on his credibility as a director, because he does product that people love. He didn't do a Star Wars film in the vein of what I think Star Wars should be. There were so much things wrong about his film. Should he feel resentful about The Rise of Skywalker? I think yes, on the basis of he had so much backing from Lucasfilm in terms of what he was doing. And then when Lucasfilm have seen the reaction, they've basically, I can't think of a better expression, but shit the bed. And so The Rise of Skywalker is their reaction to the fan reaction. And so they've undid everything from his film in The Rise of Skywalker, or at least attempted to. So he should feel resentful about it, because literally he's gone from the studio backing him to the studio throwing him under the bus. So I'm not convinced he's telling the truth.
I think a better question would be, should J. Abrams feel resentful
Yeah,
about The Last
100%
Jedi.
JJ's resentful, and he knew precisely what he was doing with the Rise of Skywalker. He resented what Rian Johnson did to his characters that he created. That's the only reason he came back, I think.
Having said that, though, I mean, J.J.
And so
Abrams.
the only thing I would say about it, should Rian Johnson feel resentful? Yes, because of the backing he had, and then they threw him under the bus. My second question would be, does he really care? Probably not. Because he's not going to go back to it. He made the film he wanted to make. He's been very clear in that. He did with the characters what he wanted to do. He liked it. Does he care?
I mean,
probably not.
As horrible as Episode 8 was, some of the worst of Star Wars happens in Episode 9. Bringing Palpatine back and not explaining how, and having that awful throwaway line from Poe Dameron.
If you play Fortnite, that's how they announced he was coming back. It actually says a lot about JJ's career. He's actually filming in Scotland. At the moment, it's JJ. But after The Rise of Skywalker, JJ kind of disappeared off the map for a long time, despite signing a big money contract to produce TV and film. He produced very little. So it very negatively affected JJ Abrams as well. So I'm sure there's resentment on JJ Abrams' side.
Massively.
Even though he undid a lot of things with The Rise of Skywalker, JJ got a lot of heat for The Rise of Skywalker too.
Yeah,
because if you were a fan of the sequel trilogy, you're probably a fan of The Last Jedi, let's be honest. So you can't be happy with The Rise of Skywalker because it's just it just makes the sequel trilogy fighting against itself. That whole set of 3 films becomes ludicrous when watched as one piece of art.
Can you imagine a time, though, in the future where there's children of a certain age? Maybe they're now, maybe when Episode 7 came out, they were 7, maybe 8 years old. That sequel trilogy is their Star Wars.
No. They're not. They won't be watching Star Wars.
No.
If you grew up and that was your Star Wars, you're not going to end up a
You're
Star
not
Wars
going to like Star Wars. Exactly.
That's my theory on it. And I think that's the damage that the sequel trilogy has done. It alienated a lot of existing fans. And I don't think it has made hardcore fans out of those who did watch it. I think you're more likely to have fans who have come through and become Star Wars fans because of Clone Wars, Rebels, the TV shows, than you will have become hardcore Star Wars fans off of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, the only way that trilogy of films will become more palatable will be if the Rey trilogy, should it ever happen, if the Rey films are that good that you can then tolerate those 3 films to get to that point.
Yeah, and I think it boils down to the character of Rey, which is probably the only protected character throughout that trilogy. And that's why I think Kev saying, no, Paul, that will never happen. It had no kid appeal whatsoever.
Exactly.
That's why I think if there is a Rey trilogy, they probably won't bring back any other character.
Do you think? Yeah. I think you'll have BB-8 rolling around because he's inoffensive enough.
Don't know. Offends me.
Yes, sorry. Your droid
Here's
version.
my thing when it comes to droids. Right, we all get new mobile phones every other year, right? With the latest hardware and the latest software. So, why would you keep a droid your entire life? Why would you not upgrade it? Like, there's going to be someone that makes and sells droids going, buy the latest model.
Are you suggesting
they've got to stop supporting it with software and security updates, haven't they? Or your USB charger, they change the cable on it, and so you can't charge it anymore. I tell you what. Why do people keep their droids? It's like nobody keeps a car.
No. Are you suggesting that R2D2 should be called Nokia 3310?
Basically.
Yes.
Basically, all you can do with R2D2 is play Snake.
Yes.
If you're going to climb into your ship and you're going to travel through hyperspace, a very complicated and difficult and highly technical thing to do, extremely dangerous, that could kill you. Are you going to use technology that's 40 years old, or are you going to get something modern and up to date?
It's a very valid point.
That's why droids suck. Rian Johnson should feel resentful about droids. I do. No, my thought is Rian Johnson should feel resentful about the Rise of Skywalker because he got thrown under the bus, probably deservedly. Although he should never throw anyone under a bus. I'm not saying go out there and do that this week. But yeah, he should feel resentful about that. JJ should feel resentful about The Last Jedi. We should all feel resentful about the sequel trilogy. And let's try to forget all about it.
I think
Big Kev's making a point as well. Planned droid obsolescence. Yeah, why is the manufacturers of droids not making it so you can't charge the battery?
Yeah.
So the battery just doesn't last a whole day, so you want to replace it all the time.
Or it fries at a certain point in time, so therefore, it's going to be too expensive to replace the battery, so you have to scrap the droid. Absolutely. It is the...
Why did Anakin's mother, who was a slave, let's remember, a slave to a little alien, and your son makes you a droid that can speak 3 million languages? You know what I mean? Like, as a mother, you'd be disappointed in your child. What you wanted your child to build was a droid that could shoot and kill and free you. You know what I mean? Instead of one that's in protocol. Come on, basically what Anakin was saying to his slave of a mother is, say please and thank you better. That's why I'm going to get you a protocol droid, and it's going to teach you how to say please and thank you to your slave master. The whole concept of droids throughout the whole thing's just garbage.
How have you managed to twist this round to your favourite subject? You've done it again.
If you're running a moisture farm, why do you want a droid that navigates you through hyperspace? No purpose. Just stupid.
Dear. Every time.
I feel resentful against droids, that's for sure. Paul, we should move on because we've got another news to cover.
Move on.
So let's move on from Jabba's court and remind people it's part of Good Morning Tatooine, your weekly cup of all the latest Star Wars news, live streaming every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
And as we head back to Good Morning Tatooine, still resentful of droids.
And the red mist descends.
Red mist is raised. We've put Rian Johnson in his place.
All right.
We'll tackle the next news item, which is Beau Willimon, who, as a writer, has shown a lack of grammar by when being asked whether he would love to do more Star Wars after Dawn of the Jedi, said abso-fucking-lutely. I would have had a row from my mother for using such language. And he makes a comment, I have to be careful with what crumbs I unintentionally drop here. My diplomatic and honest answer is I had a blast working on Andor. I really enjoy working with Lucasfilm. I would be delighted to work with them beyond what I'm doing with them now. That's the Reddit sanitized answer.
Right.
Interesting comments because he's written some very, very good episodes of Andor.
Yeah.
And he appears to be having a blast working with Lucasfilm, which not a lot of creators would say.
I think the only thing that I would say about that is that Andor, to all intents and purposes, was a great thriller with a thin veneer of Star Wars. So whether he actually understands Star Wars per se, I don't know. But he should. He should be perhaps be allowed to put forward some sort of script treatment, or whatever, for a future project. But yeah, I think with Andor they sort of struck gold without it being too Star Warsy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and this is probably of a similar vein, I would suggest.
Yeah.
Well, be interesting to see what he brings. But yeah, improve your grammar, Beau Willimon, writer extraordinaire.
Potty mouth.
Yeah. Someone else has probably got a potty mouth. Don't know for sure, but we'll find out when she comes to Birmingham. Natasha Leo Bordizo is coming to Starfury Invasion 2025. I will also be there. So if you want to meet someone with a potty mouth, find me. She'll be attending on the Saturday, along with people such as Diego Luna, Kyle Soller, Robert Ems, Katie O'Brien, and more, because you've got even more coming on the Sunday. Denise Goff, Elizabeth Delau, Ivana Stacco as well, Wes Chapman, Paul Darnell. Huge amount of people coming to Birmingham, of all places.
Yeah.
For Starfury Invasion at the Hilton Metropole Hotel on the 19th through 21st of September.
Yeah. It's a great event. It really is a good event. I went to last year's, and yeah, if you're even sort of like in 2 minds whether to go, just go. It's brilliant.
Gold
Really
level tickets are sold out. Still tickets available for the general tickets, and you can obviously buy additional autograph photo opportunities with what they call as the special and extra talent.
Yes.
And the prices aren't extortionate either.
I mean, they're a pretty penny, but they're not what you would pay at other events. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to attending Starfury Invasion. It'll be my not my next convention. Ironically, I'm going to a Tribe Builders convention in August, which is always fun. Love droids, Paul. And then I'll be heading at Starfury. I think that's going to be me for the year. Convention.
I will
I'm looking forward to it.
I will see you at the droids event. I'm popping along for one day at least.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
So I'll see you there as well then. And if you want tickets for Starfury Invasion, head to starfury.co.uk before they sell out.
Yeah.
And that, Paul, is this week's news. But we're not done there, because we've got an episode of Andor to review as well. So should we head to the Death Star Cometh?
The Death Star cometh. Here it cometh.
So this week on the Death Star Cometh, we're talking Season 2, Episode 6. What a festive evening. What a festive evening we're having, Paul. Been live streaming Good Morning Tatooine, and now we've got to my favourite part of the show, which is recapping Andor, and what I wonderfully termed the Death Star Cometh. Just a reminder to all those terrorist scum what is coming their way. Just a shake of the head.
On with you. With you.
This is a sad episode. Sad things happen in this episode, Paul. It calls it a festive evening.
I think joyous things happen, but I could be wrong.
Terrible. Let's bring up the screen share and we can see what happened this episode. Kicked off on a new planet, Port Steergard, where Luthien Rail's been hanging about in his ship, and Andor himself turns up. He's back from his mission on the horrible, horrible planet of Gorman with the horrible, horrible Gorman people. And they make haste back to Coruscant, but not before having an argument about whether they should even be involved with what's going on in Gorman, and why they're stoking up a rebellion there, and what it's going to mean for the Gorman people. And Luthien doesn't really take kindly to being challenged on the point by Andor. Meanwhile, back on Coruscant, Kayla, she's continuing to put together their plans and working with the local Gorman rebels, and she has sent Vel to the planet to stoke up an attack on the beloved Empire, and work with the real scummy underground of Gorman.
The beloved Empire.
Yeah, Gorman are a democratic planet who have voted to be part of the Galactic Empire and willingly sit on the Galactic Empire Senate. Could have left if they weren't happy, and if they'd left, there would be no Imperial presence on the planet. It's democracy, Paul. That's what it is.
Shocking is
These are the things that nobody challenges in Star Wars, is that every member of that Senate, and the Senate existed up until during the events of A New Hope, where the Senate was disbanded, every single planet that had an Imperial presence on it was a willing member state. Could have left at any time.
It sounds a bit like the EU.
Does, yeah. There could have been a Gormexit if they wanted to. They chose not to.
Brilliant.
Back in Coruscant, Andor has returned to his beloved Bix. They share a happy, intimate moment. And but then Cassian finds out that Luthien's been to visit. That sounded a little bit creepy, not in a sexual way. But he'd been there basically offering Bix work, and that was kind of against what Cassian thought was going to be the happening when he was away. So he was less than impressed, and he kind of feels that Luthien's playing them a little bit. So not happy times in the Cassian household. Much happier times in Mon Mothma's world, because she's going partying with her beloved husband, who has gone to all the effort of organising 3 nights out for the Senate investitures of everyone. So they're partying their hearts out, Paul, and loving every moment of it.
Nice. He's looking at his tablets. He's not bothered there at all.
He's looking at his schedule of what all they have to go, where they all have to go, and who they have to see. He's got it all worked out. He works very hard for his wife. He doesn't get credit for.
You're right. I mean, he's such a nice guy. I think he's playing Snake on there, Brian. I don't think he's looking.
It could well be. You know, it's a more modern tablet than their droid, probably. Cassian, showing his unhappiness with Luthien Rail, breaks all protocol and heads to the shop, where he confronts Luthien about trying to encourage Bix to be out there doing jobs for him when Bix is clearly not mentally right at this point in time. Very interesting, because this is the start of the cracks beginning to show in this rebellion of sorts. Over at the ISB, they're getting ready for party season 2, because there's nobody loves a party like a ISB party.
There is no party.
It's a bit like S Club 7, isn't it? It's like there's nothing like an ISB party. And our favourite two beloved ISB agents there, they're going out partying. And they're going to be ending up partying with Mon Mothma, of all people. How nice. That shows people. You just, the Empire organising to make sure that every senator feels welcome. And so every member of the ISB makes sure to visit upon a senator in these crucial days, Paul.
It's such lucky people.
They are.
We can only hope that they have a pleasant life.
Yeah. And meanwhile, over in Gorman, a little love interest from season 1 back together. Vel there, back with her beloved, who she's been kept apart from by Luthien for far too long. And but now they're going to be both working together on the Gorman resistance to the Empire, which was an interesting little scene.
Yeah, I didn't she explain that she'd been quite unwell for a while and recovering?
There was an allusion to some kind of incident that...
Yeah. It's Cinta.
Yes. Yeah. Who kind of left her incapacitated to some degree.
Yeah.
And obviously in the background she's killed off Mon Mothma's childhood friend as well. Daedra gives an update on progress in Gorman. Obviously, it's a key part of their Empire's energy project. And she's reminded that she can't tell anything to her boyfriend who's working on Gorman as well. So she's under pressure from the ISB. A little bit uncomfortable, it would be fair to say.
Yeah. I think she's a very cool and calculating character, but she doesn't realise when she's out of her depth, and she's slowly sinking.
Yes, I think that's a very good point. Cinta fell in the local resistance, which every time I say resistance, all I think of is hello, hello.
Which is very much what they're like.
They are very much. Here they are with the Madonna with the big boobies laid out on the table in front of them. That's such a reference that so few people are going to get.
Oh dear.
Planning with a rubbish model, it's fair to be said, a really rubbish model of the town, and what they're going to be doing to steal product from the Empire here, building a beautiful new administration building right in the heart of the city, and including elected politicians. I'll remind people at this table who are part of the rebellion, because they can't achieve what they want democratically, so they try to force it through threats and intimidation. Terrible.
That's exactly right.
Bex, meanwhile, she's getting high.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, she's developed a bit of a habit.
Just a druggie.
Yeah.
If she was to have a child, that child's going to get all that drugs in their system.
If. Yeah.
Yeah, if.
Yeah. Was that supposed to be drugs or alcohol?
Drugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, her and Cassian get a little signal. A little light beacon starts flashing on top of one of the buildings. That's Luthen's call that he wants to meet. And Gorman, Vel, and Cinta are not too impressed with the local resistance, and they kind of share their thoughts, and they share a kiss as well. Concern as to what the local resistance are capable of, and a little bit of dissatisfaction that Luthen's put them in this position as well is vented. Meanwhile, in the beautiful Senate building, the heart of democracy in our beloved Galactic Empire, they're welcoming all the new senators through a nice little chant of how much they love the Galactic Empire. And Mon Mothma, she doesn't really utter the words, so whether she's truly a senator at this point in time, if she hasn't given the oath, I kind of feel like she's not. And obviously Emperor Palpatine's very busy, so he couldn't be there, so his deputy there leading the procession.
I don't recall who he was.
I can't remember his name, to be perfectly honest. And Mon Mothma leaves swiftly as soon as the Senate leaves, because she's going partying. And there's her husband looking very dapper, charming man. And they're meeting up with Bail Organa. Do you recognise him, Paul?
Yes. I think the last time I saw Bail Organa look anything like that, he was in some not Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone film with. Yes, no, I don't recognise him as Bail Organa. I think it was one of the most stupid things that they did. Why not just sort of like have Bail Organa's sort of
envoy or assistant or someone
offline.
Being there? It didn't actually need Bail Organa.
It
kind of agree.
No. Yeah.
If you couldn't get the original actor, you didn't really need him.
No.
Unless you have intentions to do a spin-off where you're going to need a Bail Organa actor on a regular basis. Who knows?
No, I don't think so. I think it would have been much better, like you just said, to have some advisor voicing the opinions of Bail Organa or a droid, whatever. But no, that was a pointless move on their behalf, I think.
Obviously, the Empire want to make sure that party season goes well, so they're monitoring things very closely to make sure there's no trouble. And Mon Mothma's husband there, he's meeting his daughter's father-in-law. What would you? I don't know.
What you call brother-in-law?
I don't know. I was trying to work it out. But I don't think there is a name for it that I can think of. Daughter's father-in-law, and because he's hosting a party, and also at that party, Luthen Rail, And there's no party without the ISB being there.
Could have Lonnie
Ain't
there.
no party without an ISB party. So they're all going to go and look at his art collection. And there's a very special friend of the ISB going to be there as well. All this is intercut with what's going on in Gorman as the rebels try to attack the Empire. Mon Mothma and Luthien, they have a little conversation. Luthien kind of spells out the problem they've got, and that there's a listening device on Skulldun's artwork that they need to remove, and that's why he's there, and Kayla's there. And Kayla confronts her little ISB agent, and he gets panicked because he doesn't do his traitory in public. So he's alarmed that she's there, and she needs his help. And beyond providing information to Luthien and Rael, this appears to be the first time where he's forced into committing an act, and committing an act very publicly.
Yeah.
On Gorman, things are starting to kick off. Vel's watching. Tension is high. But then we get the exciting reveal of who's the special guest at the party. My favourite, Director Krennic, who's just looking immaculate there in his little sash.
It's slightly different uniform.
Yeah, I don't know what this sash represents, but that's his party sash, I'm going to say.
I think this is a little bit like, you know, when there's a captain of a ship and he might have his regular captain's clothes and then he's got his dress clothes. That's basically what we've got, isn't it? Yeah.
Looking dapper.
Yeah.
And if only he knew the skullduggery of the individuals that he was looking at there and what they're up to behind his back. It could have changed the course of the war completely.
But obviously the nice man on the left, he knew nothing of it.
No, he's a completely innocent bystander. Good man. Kayla, meanwhile, with her ISB friend, she's over at this piece of artwork which has got the listening device underneath that she needs to remove whilst everybody else is looking at the art. So he's manipulated into providing cover, plus she tries to remove it. On Gorman, things are kicking off. The Imperial transport providing equipment to ensure the continual positive administration of the planet is attacked by the Gorman rebels, and they steal taxpayer-funded equipment and take it away in their own little transport. Meanwhile, things get tense between Director Krennic and Mon Mothma. Not a fan of Mon Mothma, it would appear. Director Krennic, a very good reader character.
Of course.
A very good scene. I liked this scene where they sort of politely said things to each other in a very aggressive manner.
Yes, passive aggressive.
Yes, that's a very, very, very nice way to describe it. Luthien's getting stressed because Kayla's still mucking about trying to get the listening device off the artwork. So the tension is building here. And talking of tension, things are very, very tense. On Gorman, especially when the locals come about and say things like, "Get the chub out of my way." That's worse than what I said at the beginning of the show. Get the chub out of my way.
Oh dear. He should chub off. That's what
he was. He does. He is a bit of a chub in a moment. Because Spider-Man, that sells all the little spider toys, pulls a gun on him because he won't get out of the way, starts interfering, wants to know what they're up to. Mm-hmm. And it leads to the accidental death of Cinta.
Terrible.
And Chob, as we'll call him from now on. He's responsible for carrying the body away. Bad people, the Gormans, all round, really. A needless death for stealing government equipment. Meanwhile, they've all come round the artwork that Kayla is at. She's managed to remove the listening device. So Luthien, he's happy. Look, he's got a smile on his face. They've succeeded in their little plot to access the artwork and secure the listening device, so Skalden doesn't find out the traitory that's been going on from Mon Mothma. And we end the episode. Well, we don't end the episode. The episode should have ended here with the tears of Vel at the death of Cinta.
Yeah.
But we ended the episode with a horrific scene of violence against medical workers. And Dr. Gorst, who'd been out to buy what looked like a lovely snack, let's be fair.
Chinese takeaway, I think.
Yeah, it looked tasty. His return to his important work, so important that he's now working for the Imperial Navy, not just the ISB anymore. He's very much been moved up the rankings, and his work into crying children. Bix pulls a gun on him, looks very upset, doesn't really recognise her.
And I think that upset her even more, didn't it? The fact that he looks right through her.
Which,
who are you?
which comes back to play later in the season between Cyril and Cassian a little bit. And she puts headphones on and a little mouth gag on so you can Netflix and chill and listen to the children crying. And she doesn't have the guts to kill him, I'll point out. But she walks away, shoots a innocent guard who, let's be fair, has done a very poor job of guarding the building. And as they walk away, she meets up with Cassian, and they blow the building up, containing the Nobel Peace Prize winning Dr. Gorst inside. A very, very sad ending.
Do you think?
Yeah. I loved Dr. Gorst. He was so happy about his breakthrough and so happy that the Emperor was chuffed with his work. And, you know, he's just been given a promotion. He's on Coruscant. He's working for the Navy. He's excelling in his industry. And a drugged up terrorist, that's the only way to describe Bix at this point, a drugged up terrorist has murdered him.
You could describe her as a ghostbuster.
That's terrible.
I know.
But yeah, that was this week's Andor, which has really started to ramp up the tension.
It was a stronger episode than I remember.
It was. A lot packed into that episode, to be fair.
Yeah. Yes, I like these little reviews. And it's nice that we've left it so long after it's aired because we don't want to spoil it for anybody.
No, it's nice because you kind of know where things are going. So you can reflect on things a little bit differently.
Yeah. You've almost made our own little Topps card set.
We have. Anyway. But it's very interesting the way that they've been building things up and lining things up. Yeah. And things are about to kick off badly in Gorman, it would appear.
Yeah.
Now that the rebels have attacked the government, there's only one thing you can do, and that's to retaliate.
Yeah. So if that was episode 6, that was the last of the second set of 3.
Yes.
And so there's a small time jump then.
So you now get a 1 year time jump.
Yeah.
Because they're not because you know they're decent people, the Empire, that, you know, a bad Empire would have came out and just slaughtered all the Gormans the next day. But, you know,
we said, no, we're going to give you a year.
Yeah, we're going to give you a year. We're going to finish building our new administration wing. that you tried to stop. We're going to tolerate your protest because, that's what we do in a democracy. We allow people to voice their opinions.
And let you build up strength. There you go.
And if you get out of hand, we're just going to park our Star Destroyer on top of you.
It's a common tactic.
That was the one sad thing about Andor was we didn't get to meet Grand Moff Tarkin. It would have been nice to have Grand Moff Tarkin to have visited Gorman because he's beloved there.
I'd have loved to have seen Tarkin. Yeah. There are a few people that were missing out of Andor, but it all works out fine. Yeah.
I wanted more than anything for the Emperor to appear around Mon Mothma's speech.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
And even a very quiet Vader just stood in the background. Anything.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. He doesn't have to say anything, just be there. Bit of presence.
Yeah.
It's, hey, there we go.
But that is it for this week's Death Star Cometh. And we'll be back with another segment for episode 7 on next week's GMT.
Excellent stuff.
And Paul, that is us for this week as well.
That is. We've just got a few shout outs to do.
Big show. 90-minute blockbuster of a show. We've covered a lot of ground, spoken on a lot of topics. It's been good to have you back.
We have. Oh, it's been great to be back, mate. Good to see you.
And with that, I guess it's time for me to say it's a good night from me.
Oh, and it's a good night from him. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at FanthaTracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow FanthaTracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.